After 40 years, a Corpus Christi Vietnam veteran is recognized for his service after being wounded. Brian Burns tells us more about these long overdue medals in this week's Military Matters.
Four of us, and then we were sent to the hospital. The other guys took off. And I miss them so much because I found out they didn't make it, The guys that were with us in the squad.
Ricardo Gonzalez was a Marine corporal during the Vietnam War. He started out as an aircraft firefighter and then was transferred to a recon outfit to do behind enemy lines intelligence gathering.
I was injured 4 times, 3 times as an aircraft firefighter, and then in the recon.
But after Ricardo's discharge in the early 70s after being wounded, he didn't receive recognition of his injuries.
I was appalled. I was bewildered about why, and I would ask many people, many veterans, and help me, something went wrong.
That's when he went to the office of the congressman for the 27th Congressional District. And after several years of work in a recent ceremony at Sherrill Park, Congressman Michael Cloud was able to present the long overdue recognition.
Due to some, logistical error that he had not received the medals that he and his unit had earned. And so we went to work clearing up that error and making sure that he was able to receive the medals that he had earned. This community loves our veterans, there's no doubt about it, and it's an honor to represent them and to be able to look them in the eye and present the love and respect that we have as a people to Ricardo.
After 4 decades and a lot of wondering if he had done something wrong, it meant the world to Ricardo.
I'm so grateful.
Ricardo says he never gave up. Another reason why military matters. Brian Burns, 3 News.